Yes, I don't think we need to cut immediately. I do agree with Larry that the Fed has gone too far. And in fact, if you look at the shadow rate, which was put up by the Atlanta Fed some time ago, rates effectively at their trough were about minus 300, accounting for all of the quantitative easing and forward guidance, and rates now being up around 240. That's a 500 basis point hike in rates. So the Fed has gone a lot. I guess where I might differ with Larry, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, is I think the economy is a little bit softer. It's losing a bit of momentum. And importantly, Wilfred, the inflation backdrop is going to be very tame. The core PC deflator, which the Fed looks at, my guess is will be running at 1.5, if not lower, within 6 months.
Okay, so Joe, I don't understand how the White House, how Larry can argue that President Trump redesigned, redeveloped, re-engineered the economy in such a positive way. The trade deals are going to come through. We're going to see 3% growth this year, but we need a 0.5 point interest rate cut. I don't understand the logic.
So I would say, so for me, the logic is, look, the economy is a bit weaker, and Larry isn't saying that, but I look at the momentum as being softer. But look, in that role, it's kind of hard. It's like the Fed chair. The Fed chief, he's not going to say things are weaker either. So you always sort of, for lack of a better term, everybody's sort of a cheerleader on this stuff. But if you believe that that momentum is fragile and the price or inflation backdrop is pretty tame, then you do probably want to get out ahead of things and cut rates. On the tax side, I've never liked what they did on the household side. I've said that. I argued that. I think it's actually contractionary in some sense. I think you're going to see weaker spending this year in part because of that tax cut and what it did to households, especially on the coast, where you have a lot of wealth, a lot of GDP, and yet they're going to have effectively big tax increases. On the corporate side and the reengineering that Larry talks about, that may be all exactly correct, but we're not going to know that in the fullness of time. It doesn't mean a year or a year or two. This is going to be, let's see how this business cycle progresses and where are we 5 years from now, assuming it's not undone. These are long-term secular forces we hope that the tax cut on the corporate side will bring about.